Okay, well, thank you for logging on and joining me. My name is Sharon Morrow. I am I'm a personal trainer and well-being coach. I have been for 20 years, and really my passion with this side of things is because female health is really important, and it's just a topic that I've studied in depth. So I've been using doTERRA for about 18 months. And I've studied into this, and the reason I went into this is because when I did my course on pelvic floor health and females at menopause, so third age woman, third age females, we covered a whole section about essential oils, and it just really excited me that there was more out there that we could be using to help with not just physiological issues, but also emotional as well, particularly at menopause, because we know there's such a as females, that the health risks increase as we get older. So I just love that there was alternatives that were natural and healthy. And that's really my passion with doing this class today, is to share this information with you and to explain how you can bring these into your life, doTERRA oils, and how you can use them to support your health and well-being. So if I could just share my screen, if I remember how to do this, let's have a look. Yes. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just literally going to go through these slides here. Let me just move this back. There we go. So yes, like I say, I've been using the oils for about 18 months, but my background is health, well-being, fitness. And that all comes with, if I think of how it was when I first joined the industry, it was very much, we're looking at exercise, we're looking at nutrition. And since then, it's just developed into like pillars. There's so many pillars of health, particularly mental health. We're looking at, like I say, females' health is what we're talking about today, hormones, so endocrine system. There's so much going on within the body, and there's so much that you can do, which is amazing, to help yourself. So why doTERRA? The reason I love doTERRA and choose doTERRA for this topic is because the oils are 100% pure. And that's a real big factor for me, is that when I'm using something, I want it to be natural. I want it to be doing what it says on the tin. I want it to be ethical company, where, where it's grown, it's going to be harvested. So for me, it ticks many boxes. So if we look at the doTERRA essential oils, they're sourced from where they're naturally grown in the world. And this is what I love about them. So, if you've got clary sage, for example, in America, it's harvested there. And that's one of the main oils to use and support for hormones for third age, for menopause. So I just love how the company, it's, how it looks after both sides of the bottle as well, farmers and us. So the grade of the oils will determine the chemistry, the potency, the efficiency. So if you are using an essential oil, for example, this one here, a 15 ml bottle, it says 100% pure, it's going to be 100% pure. And you can check that by, on the bottom of the bottle there's a batch number, and you can literally stick it into a website called Source to You, and it will tell you how it's made, what's in it, and where and how it gets brought to you. So loads of ways that you can check regarding the quality of the oil that you'll be using. So they're certified pure therapeutic grade oils. They're the safest and purest oils for using to support physiological, also emotional needs of your body. And that's what I find really interesting, is actually, rather than just suffering in silence, which as females sometimes we do that, we can support ourselves, and we can use the oils as well for emotional balance as well. So would you like to be more happy, confident, balanced? Would you like to be in control, particularly of what you're thinking, or more balanced, or, like I say, a bit more like in the moment, in the present moment, and be able to function a little bit better and clearer, have a bit more clarity? Yes, we all would, wouldn't we? So what does it actually take to get like that and to stay healthy? So if we look at hormones and the imbalance of hormones, your body naturally knows how to heal. And you may notice that, if you cut yourself, or if you've got any kind of injury, it'll become red around the area, it becomes slightly inflamed. And that is your body going through the natural process of healing. So your body is it's a magnificent thing. I can't even say the word. It naturally knows how to heal. But actually, if there's something stopping that process, or, receptor cells are being blocked, or there's just a miscommunication between message of brain to muscle, brain to cells, brain to hormones, then sometimes when imbalances can occur, this is where we feel unwell, or where we're just feeling a little bit energyless, you know, nothing's firing, we're feeling a bit, then this is where the oils can come in and help you. So if we look at toxin blocking cell receptors, if you imagine that you've got a cell and the hormone receptors around there, they're sending and receiving signals. If all of a sudden this is becoming blocked, or the communication isn't there, or it's misfiring, then you might be feeling irritable. You might notice that you've got allergies to things, or you feel achy, or other imbalances that are listed on the bottom here that, you know, I don't have to go through every single one, but maybe some of you who are listening today can relate to any of these things listed. Particularly for me, I found that when I feel that my hormones are up and down, I get a little bit of brain fog, a little bit of overwhelm. And I just know then it takes me a couple of hours to realize what's going on. But I just know then it's just my time to just let my body heal and to use the oils to support that to take effect naturally. So what is actually happening? What can be done? Now, xenoestrogens are often the cause because they are like a toxin to the body. They are synthetic compounds that mimic natural estrogens. So they overstimulate bodily functions. So like I said before about having a cell, like a cell, the receptors, for example, let's look at estrogen. So the role of estrogen within the body is to regulate the female cycle and to, you know, the function of sex hormones. So if we look at the role of estrogen, and particularly as we get older and it starts to decline, and then you get disruptors like xenoestrogens, which are the synthetic compounds that we take in naturally each day from products and things that we use and our surroundings, it can completely interrupt the natural rhythm of estrogen. And what happens is that we get this disruption, the signals become interrupted, they're not firing out the correct. Hormones are basically chemical messengers. And when they're interrupted, the chemical message can be interrupted as well. So a perfect example of this would be to think of females, you know, young females, for example. They are, like I say, the role of estrogen is to regulate the female cycle. Now, years ago, that the regular age for a female to start her cycle would probably be around 12 or 13. It's much younger now, you know, and is that because xenoestrogens are in our body? For example, makeup, toxins, what we're using as cleaning products, what we're using on our skin, is it interrupting natural estrogen? And yes, most of the time it is. So if we look at what we're using on a daily basis, if we look at how we can maybe alter xenoestrogen and reduce this impact on our body, we might feel a bit more settled with it, which is definitely what I've been over the last 18 months is what I've been studying, and I can certainly vouch for that. Now, xenoestrogens cause hormonal imbalances, can be linked to breast cancer, prostate cancer, endometriosis, thyroid disease cancer, bone loss, premature menstruation, early uncomfortable menopause, overproduction of breast tissues in men and females, infertility as well. So if we look at these, they are hormonal issues. And this is something that I find it's worrying, but also reassuring knowing that there's something that we can do about this. But particularly, you know, if I look at my family history, we have got a history of breast cancer, and this is something that I want to be looking at doing, is reducing that possibility further down the line. Now, synthetic xenoestrogens are found in many places. And as you can see on the screen here, all these products, you know, and I'm sure you're familiar with them, but it's things like tap water, soy in food, plastics, factory farmed meats, canned food, pesticides, pollution, beauty products, in particular, you know, what we're putting on our skin each day, makeup and deodorants and perfumes. And you can just see, looking at that, the chemical load that is not only on our skin, but it's around us, it's around the people that we love. So they're found in everyday cleaning products, but everyday things that we use. And this is alarming because I didn't know about this until I researched it. So this is why I like to share this information, because I want you to be as knowledgeable about it as possible, because it will make a big difference to your well-being. Now, females put an average of 168 chemicals on their body every day. That's a huge amount. So personal care products, they contain endocrine disruptors, which are known as phthalates, but mainly makeup as well. You know, if you think of putting this on your face, if you think of looking at what kind of stuff you put in your body and on your body, you know, even stuff that is supposed to do our skin well, it's just so misleading. And I certainly looked at a certain brand of makeup that I use, and I was shocked to find that the lipstick had twice the toxic load that it should have. And I was horrified at that. And I've been using this particular brand for years. So I literally just binged the whole lot. But basically what it does, it interrupts, like I say, the messages and the receptors. And it's a synthetic product that it just, we're taking it into our skin, we're taking it into our bloodstream. Now, phthalates are a group of gender-bending chemicals, which is really quite concerning, and meaning that they can make males, the male species, become more female and female become more male. And certainly as a female at perimenopause, with estrogen and progesterone dropping anyway, I don't want that to be changing anymore, because, you know, facial hair and things that are changing that we don't want it to change is just something that is something else to deal with, isn't it? So if we look at a lifetime of hormone balance on a female here, and you can see how estrogen, if you see how the line, it kind of zigzags and then it goes really quite spiking up and down at perimenopause. Now we've kind of got the 3 stages. So perimenopause is from age 36 up to about 55, and it varies for different people, different females. But you can see like how it's just, you know, a regular spike in the childbearing years. This is estrogen levels, by the way. And then at perimenopause, it becomes quite erratic. There's big highs, there's big drops. And then post-menopause, obviously estrogen, we stop producing it in the female sex hormones. In the ovaries, we stop producing it. But it is you do produce it in other parts of your body, like you produce it in your tummy. So there's 3 types of hormones, 3 types of estrogen. E1, E2, and E3, and you start to produce the other 2, the other one in your tummy. And this, you know, is linked to why females in particular feel that they get this middle-age spread around post-menopause. And it's often because we start to produce estrogen within the tummy, within the tissues of the fat cells within the gut. So we want to be protecting estrogen, but also progesterone as much as possible. Now, it's possible for you to still have an imbalance at perimenopause because progesterone drops quite quickly compared to estrogen. So you can find that when progesterone is dropping rapidly, you can still be estrogen dominant, even though estrogen is dropping as well. So it's really one thing that you need to look at is making sure that your hormone balance levels out. And you can do this by making sure that your lifestyle is good, making sure that you're eating well, that you're sleeping well, that you've got less stress in your life. So all of these factors are something that we should take into consideration, as well as obviously making sure that our hormone balance is becoming leveled as well. Too much alcohol as well is one of the main things. And I know that sometimes we do this as looking at a way of handling stress, but it can have such a negative effect further down the line. Now, this information here that I'm sharing on the screen was actually sent to us, our doTERRA team, from a nurse, and it is quite sad. It's quite shocking to see that hormone replacement therapy and the drug safety update, it's clearly listed there in black and white that if you take HRT as a medication or as a form of how to cope with menopause, it's clearly listed that it is linked to breast cancer. And I find this really concerning. Like I say, we have got breast cancer. We've had breast cancer as a history in our family, and I don't want to be increasing my risk at all. So it's known to the medical profession. It's known when HRT is being distributed, it's known that there is a link. So regarding hormone replacement therapy, if you're taking it or if you're looking to take it, please just try and match it with bioavailable. So bioavailable HRT, meaning that your body can recognize it, and and it's not for synthetic. This is, I think, where the crux of it comes to. If it's synthetic, or if it's mimicked, like I know they use horse urine before with hormone replacement therapy, I think, how can that be relatable to a female? But that was what was used. Um, you want to be making sure it's bioavailable, or better still, taking on more natural approaches. And this is where the doTERRA oils or supplements can help. Certainly, um, supplementing is something that I speak quite openly about, because our food quality is different now. The quality of our just food is just how it's grown. You know, the soil is different. Factory farming and agriculture has just sort of taken over a little bit there. So supplementing could be another option for you as well. Now, if we look at the supplements, particularly Lifelong Vitality, these are 3 supplement packs that doTERRA have put together. It's called the Lifelong Vitality Pack. It kind of basically does what it says on the tin. It's a lifelong vitality pack. And even though doTERRA are essential oil company, supplements, this is their #1 selling product. And the reason for that is that people start to take it, they take it for a month and they feel better. And it's because the stuff, the food that's in this, it's sourced from plants and food, and that it is bioavailable. And I've mentioned that word before, and that basically means that your body can recognize it as food, and it can start utilizing it, and it can start absorbing it, and it doing exactly what it should be doing. So there are 3 pots there, which they add daily support with minerals, macronutrients, healthy fats. So you've got the Exio Omega. So this is the Omega pot. And this is talking of Omegas 3, 6, and 9. And what I find a lot with Omegas is sometimes if you've ever taken omega-3 supplements, is that often the oil can be rancid, particularly if it's a cheap product or if it's not correctly sourced. So it's really important that if you are taking an omega-3, 6 or 9 or combination, is that the oil contained in that is good, and it's not going to go rancid. Obviously, it's just going to do the opposite effect than if you're taking a product that's not high quality. Alpha CRS, so this is probably one of the main ones for cellular energy, of which I would say is definitely a recommendation if you're the kind of person that suffers each day with just feeling well, feeling like you need more energy. And I know this has often cropped up, particularly with my ladies who I talk to menopause about, who I'm coaching with menopause issues, is their #1 is they feel energyless, they feel lifeless, and they've got brain fog. The other aspects of menopause, like hot sweats, actually come along as a bit of a secondary. It's more of the feeling good, because I always say to them, it feels good to feel good. And it does. And then you've got your Microplex MVP, which is basically vitamins and minerals. And again, it's something that I really recommend, because vitamins and minerals, particularly vitamin C, if you're the type of person that exercises frequently, you need to take your vitamin C really consistently, because your body doesn't retain it. You literally just take it in, and your body utilizes it, pees it out, but you don't retain it. So you need to be taking a vitamin C daily, a good quality vitamin C. Also, vitamin D is really important this time of year. We've got less sunlight hours. Often, if we're working from home, as most of the world is now, or we're inside, we're still not getting the UVA, UVB light on our skin. So vitamin D is really important, along with zinc, because you can't absorb vitamin D without zinc, or calcium. So the Microplex has got all of these in it. And this is why the 3 of these work so well together, because we're looking at healthy fats, so your omega-3, 6, and 9, which actually the balance of that is so good that it also corrects cholesterol as well. So we're looking at the also cellular health, which is alpha CRS, so feeling energized and looking after all the cells in your body. And then you've got your vits and your minerals, including magnesium, which is in there. So all of those parts there, they also have essential oils in there, which help absorb the nutrition. If you think of every cell in your body is a lipid, it's made up of fat. So when you take an essential oil, and like an omega-3s, omega-6, omega-9, they're called essential fatty acids. They're essential for a reason, and that is that your body requires them. So in terms of supporting menopause symptoms, like I mentioned with the hot flushes, if you've got anything like peppermint or citrus oil, citrus oils or Claricalm, these are perfect for the hot flushes, particularly peppermint at night. This is good just to rub onto the back of your neck, or if you've got it in a spray bottle, I sometimes put that in the fridge. Citrus oils, Claricalm, that can go on the soles of your feet. Fatigue, like I just mentioned, the Mito V2 Max and the Peppermint or LLV pack, which is your lifelong vitality, and ginger as well, also good for fatigue. Low libido, ylang ylang, it's known, isn't it, historically, that it is, sorry, I can't get somebody in the chat. Sorry, somebody just tried to click on there to come into the weight room. Yeah, ylang ylang, it's known historically, isn't it, as being an aphrodisiac. But it is very good for increasing libido. And actually, we might laugh and think, you know, libido being quite funny, but it can be really disruptive, can't it, to a relationship? You know, if it's something that you're suffering with, it can have quite a negative effect on relationships. Elevation, again, and clary sage is there. Mood swings, symptoms, probably balance. I'm so glad that's listed as the top one. Balance is like the savior, particularly used on the soles of your feet at night, or I tend to use this around that time of the month. And I know when I'm feeling that I'm getting a bit crazy pants with my hormones is because I'm quite snappy with people, normally family members, with the dog. You know, it's just, you notice it, don't you, coming on. Okay. So to support the hormone balance, we have got some female, we've got basically it's a female wellbeing pack, and it is the bone nutrient, it's the phytoestrogens, and a pack there of Claricalm, which is a rollable, it's like a roll-on. So phytoestrogen complex has a natural blend of plant extracts, and it basically mimics estrogen that's in the body, but it's a natural source. So phytoestrogens are required by the body, and it is really good for helping estrogen maintain its level. Claricalm and Whisper, you can like literally rub it on your wrists. I sometimes rub it here on the back of my neck, or directly on my tummy where there's any pain at all with Claricalm. I've also used that for headaches actually, because it's quite a good one for reducing pain. Now, the bone nutrient complex, it's got a natural blend of calcium, vitamin C, D, and magnesium. And I also think there is zinc in there as well. And I mentioned that before, that it's really important that you get your vitamins, particularly vitamin D, this time of year with less sunlight hours. Vitamin C is something, it's a vitamin that isn't retained, so we need to take that as a supplement daily. Sleeping well, you've got oils like Serenity. This comes as an oil and with soft gels that you can take at night to support good sleep. And the reason this is listed on here is because sleeping is it's another side effect of menopause that actually is interrupted quite a lot with hormonal disruption. And sometimes it can be, I think it's interesting to know which way round it can be. Sometimes you might wake up because you're having a hot flush, or sometimes you might wake up and this causes a hot flush. So I think it's important to know which way round that you feel that you suffer, so that you can support it. So if you're the kind of person that is waking up because you're just not sleeping well because you're worrying, or you've got things on your mind and sleep is quite up and down for you, then I would say look at the oils to support with sleep, which is Serenity and the soft gels that you can take at night. Hopefully then if you manage to sleep through the night, you won't wake up, which causes other factors like possibly a hot flush. Also, it can interrupt our hormones, leptin and ghrelin, and these two hormones are our appetite hormones. And this is often why we can feel hungry in the middle of the night, because you've woken up and it's disrupted those two hormones. Or even throughout the day, you know, you can feel ravenous, can't you, if you've had a bad night's sleep, and then it's this vicious circle of I'm feeling ravenous, I need to eat something, which then just makes you come into a bit of a slump, and then you eat something else to bring your blood sugar back up. It can just be this cycle of doom. But there is a way out of the cycle of doom. And also you've got the Cleanse and Nourish cells. There is a Cleanse and Restore. It's like a program for 30 days, and it basically just talks you through how to use the oils to support you over 30 days, which is a really nice way of just resetting hormones and just kind of kick-starting the endocrine system a little bit, endocrine system being hormones. So for emotional support, the Claricalm, it comes on as a little roller ball, just like this. I have got it, it's in the other room. I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I picked up lavender instead, but you literally roll it onto your palms or on the back of your neck, or directly on the pain if you're feeling cramps in your tummy. I sometimes use it as a bit of a deodorant actually, because I don't use the smelly deodorants. I use like a natural deodorant, and I just use this as well, just to fragrance it a little bit. So cramping, bloating, back pain, like I say, directly on the source, just rub it on. In this pot is coconut oil anyway. So it's if you suffer with sensitive skin, it's like a carrier oil for it. It helps with body odor. Like I say, it's caused by hormones, because sometimes we can sweat more, or hormones imbalance can produce different odors. Interestingly, since I've stopped using chemical deodorant, as I call it, since I've stopped using chemical deodorant, I feel like I sweat. I still sweat, but I feel like there's no odor. Whereas, you know, I'm not the kind of person that is going to go to the gym without deodorant. I definitely need it doing the job that I do. So testing out the hormones, testing out the deodorants that weren't chemical was definitely a challenge. But I found one that is completely natural. It's got no fragrance to it. I actually smell less, which is bizarre. It just goes to show the xenoestrogens that are in these chemicals are completely disrupting our hormones that's just producing odors. So I'm loving the fact that I'm still sweaty, but I'm not smelly, which is always positive. So in the Claricalm, you've got clary sage, and this helps ease muscle tension, mood lifting, and balance hormones. Lavender, which is also calming, supports natural hormone level. Lavender's a really versatile oil, actually, because I find it helps with sleep, but it's also a big mood disruptor, particularly if you're feeling in a good way. If you're feeling quite low, you can use it for lifting mood, but also it's calming, and also it's good for anything skin related, so healing. Bergamot, another one, it's a citrus oil as well. Roman chamomile, so it eases the relaxing, it helps ease muscle tension. Cedarwood, it's also good for exercising, cedarwood, but it supports natural hormone levels. Ylang ylang helps with stress, and it's phytoestrogenic, which is another bonus. This is what we need at perimenopause and, well, perimenopause and beyond. Geranium helps balance endocrine system. It's calming, again, it's phytoestrogenic. So you've got all the top oils in this one. Fennel, this is quite aniseed. It's a brilliant one for supporting estrogen production and lactation. I must say, when we talk about lactation, it's not all of a sudden going to make you lactate if your body isn't ready to lactate if we're at perimenopause. But if your body was to lactate during pregnancy, it's another one to support with. Carrot seed helps support healthy endocrine system. Palmarosa, so soothing to the body, supports healthy thyroid levels. And then Vitex, which is it's a bioidentical to phytoestrogens, and it's antispasmodic. So really good for it to be in there to help with cramping, particularly menstrual cramping as well. So really good products. You've got top oils in there. Now the phytoestrogen complex, so this is the supplement pack that you just seen on the previous screen. So phytoestrogens, what are they? They help equalize estrogen levels. So phytoestrogens, they naturally occur in plants and compounds similar to the estrogens produced in the body. They provide mild estrogenic effects, and they can bind to estrogen cell receptors called beta receptors. So like what we was talking about with the disruption, sometimes the signal from our cells of our body to hormones being chemical messengers, when you take a phytoestrogen, if you've got too much estrogen, so milder phytoestrogens combined with the receptors, which would often or sometimes could be filled by stronger estrogens. And this is a way of balancing out and regulating. Likewise, if you don't produce enough estrogen, the phytoestrogens help to fill the void. So it's almost like a way of self-regulating to try and get the balance right with phytoestrogen or estrogen levels within your body. And it's important to understand and know whether you are estrogen dominant, whether you are androgen dominant, which is where you're more of male sex hormones that are present. And you will know this by knowing yourself of, you know, how you feel, particularly if you feel that your energy is low, or you feel that you're just a bit lethargic and brain fog. That's often a sign of it's estrogen that is dropping and being that you're lower on. Now, your beta receptors are found mainly in the cardiovascular system, in the bones and in the skin, and they're not found in any of the sex hormones. So, like I say, this is important because we stop producing estrogens within the ovaries anyway when we get to menopause, and we go to producing within the body, particularly around the gut anyway. So we know that anything synthetic, synthetic hormones has a link to hormonal cancers like breast cancer. So it's really important that what you're taking in is quite natural and it's going to be balancing rather than harming. So phytoestrogen complex, the one I've just been talking about, is amazing to support perimenopause to postmenopause. There are natural phytoestrogens as well, so food. As you can see, these food here are natural phytoestrogens, so it's really important to have a balanced diet. I will always say that, you know, your foundation is nutrition. You can't outtrain a bad diet, no matter how much time you exercise. What you eat is ultimately the way forward. So plenty of fiber, plenty of green leafy veg. We need lots of vegetables and fruit. And I think to follow like a Mediterranean diet. This has been one of the diets that is shown to be the best at perimenopause to menopause and beyond is the Mediterranean diet. And there's ways that you can add like flax seeds, sesame seeds. I just chuck these on my salad. I put them in my smoothie. Oats, you know, I would have that on yogurt in the morning. Nuts snacking on throughout the day, and just being a little bit more adventurous when you're making meals, you know, rather than sticking to the same kind of vegetables. What could you do different this week? What else could you add in? And I know that we're busy people and it's hard to just even think about what we're going to be eating, but ways to get food in, particularly different vegetables, is just another way of increasing phytoestrogens. Okay, now bone nutrient complex. This one's real close to my heart, this one, because it's really important that your bones and your bone density is strong, particularly, like I say before, when you get to perimenopause and beyond, really. So some staggering statistics that osteoporosis affects 200 million women worldwide. And I think that is absolutely staggering. You know, that's enormous. And it's linked, we know it's linked to our hormones level dropping. So 1 in 3 women over the age of 50 will experience osteoporosis fractures. It's mainly hip fractures. This is what mainly occurs in females, is hip fractures. And, you know, just be in that area, just be in the pelvic region. It's just something that we really need to look at and we really need to take action on. So I would say exercise is absolutely non-negotiable. You need to exercise, you've got to keep your bones strong, and you can supplement this by taking a bone density. So, or the bone nutrients, sorry, to increase density. Like I've mentioned with the ingredients, you've got vitamin D, you've got calcium, magnesium, vitamin C in there as well. Also zinc, I'm sure there is. So the biggest source of vitamin C is from the sun, and sadly our sunlight hours is changing. But also magnesium, you know what, like I've mentioned, our soil is totally different. If I think back to how my nan used to cook, she would eat what she grew in the garden. She'd just go into the garden and pull it out of the soil, and that's what we'd have with dinner. But it's just so different. Of the nutrients we get from food now is way different to what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. So sadly, we do need to supplement. So essential oils, how can they support you physically and emotionally? They're really versatile, they're really dynamic. And what happens is there's 3 ways you can use essential oils. You can use them topically, so directly on your skin, which we've spoken about. If you have a rollerball, if you have pain, you can literally just unscrew and you can put it directly on skin, back of the neck. Or you can put them in a diffuser, so you can take them in aromatically. I find this quite a powerful way, particularly if you suffer with low mood, is just to have your diffuser on to help with low mood. Just because when you take them in, when you inhale them, the signal from your nose to the brain, the olfactory nerve goes into the limbic system of the brain. So you can instantly interrupt signals from the brain that are quite negative. And you can do that just by cutting, by taking in the aroma from the essential oil. So scientifically, it's amazing what they can do just by having the diffuser on topically. Or you can take them internally, like lemon oil is really good for digestion. Peppermint as well, really good for the gut. So just be aware of how your body is. You know, if one of the biggies is constipation at menopause, it's really important that you've got a bowel movement daily or every other day. If you are a normal every other day person, then every other day is great. But you need a bowel movement. Otherwise, you're just going to reboot estrogen around the body, which is not what you want. We don't want any toxic reoccurring estrogen. We want it to be excreted. So what's the best way to cope with constipation? It's drinking more water. It's having good gut microbiome. It's having a good diet. So I would address anything related to pelvic floor or female health. You must address your constipation first if you do suffer there. So plenty of water, lemon water or lemon essential oil in your water. Also more fiber, exercise, all the things that I've spoken about.